Before I jump into this interview, I first off want to thank the Ashland Beacon. That's where I got this photo of Dylan from. Normally, it's of the player's jersey number, their face shows, but in this case, just given the special circumstances of Friday's game against Johnson Central, I thought it would be good to put him catching that game-winning touchdown reception. And I took out the background and altered the photo for placement and cropping purposes. But a big thank you to the Ashland Beacon, and also a big thank you to Chris Pullum for everything he has done, not just for me, but for every single athlete in this area. And it goes beyond the announcing. It goes outside to all the work that he's done that doesn't get noticed on air. And a big thank you to him.
Hello and welcome to this edition of the Audio Spotlight. I'm Tyler Rowland, and with me is somebody who's made a significant impact for the Ashland Tomcats football team this year on both sides of the football. He came through this week with 3 big receptions, including what would amount to the game-winning reception against rival Johnson Central to secure the 4A District 6 title. Dylan Duckwyler, it's good to have you here, man. And let's talk about that game first off, and what was going through your mind on that last play?
Honestly, I was just wanting to make that big play. Got 9 seconds left, and it's do or die. And you need this point.
That was a big play. And there was another play on the kick return, because I believe you were the one that initially caught the kick return. Is it true Braxton Jennings, he just went up to everybody and said, "Put that ball in my hand"?
No, he actually came up to me and was like, "Pitch it to me and trust me on this. I got you." And I was like, "All right, I'm trusting you." He had our back. You just got to trust in your guys. That's it.
Yeah, definitely a big play getting to the 27-yard line late. Of course, Cam Davis would convert that, and him and LeBryant would convert that first down play afterward. So just winning this district, you look at just how deep it is. I mean, of course, Johnson Central, they're a top 5 team in 4A. You have Boyd County and Greenup County. They have improved. I mean, I just talked the other week about how Boyd County picked up their 25th win this decade. That's as many wins as they had in the entire 2010s. Greenup, of course, is much improved. And even, Rowland in 2020 got to the regional finals for the first time since the early 1980s. So what does it mean to you to win the district in such a strong and deep district?
It really means a lot, because you only get 4 years of high school, so you're only getting 4 chances to win a district championship, and not many people get to do that.
Yeah, just what a busy person you are, because that's one of the things I want to highlight about you is you come to school, you go to practice. That's already a 10-plus hour day. What do you do after that usually?
Some days I'll go to work, South Ashland Giovanni's, and then most days I'll just go home and rest.
That stands out to me, how you work. Because, like today, we're talking, it's a Sunday, and you worked both days this weekend, if I'm correct?
Yep.
Wow, very impressive. And talk about your job at South Ashland Giovanni's. And I'm going to say, first off, on South Ashland Giovanni's, they did not pay me to say anything on this. I love going there. Kim Phillips is a fantastic human being. They do a great job, and they treat us very well at the games with My Town TV. Dylan, what is it that you like about working there, and maybe something that you learned over that working on that job?
Honestly, there's nothing bad about that job. I've told anybody that asks me about working there, I love it. Everything's great. The people there are great. They're actually mostly my friends that I go to school with. So it's actually pretty easy to talk to people there. One thing I'd say I learned there was probably just talking to strangers, because you got more people, well, probably about 40 to 50 people every 2 to 3 hours coming in. So that's just a lot of people to talk to, and you can't just stand there and be quiet the whole time.
I thought it was so cool because I drove through one night and I'm like, oh, yeah, because when you were at the window and greeted me there.
I remember that day.
Yeah, you're gonna get a lot of good experience through that. But you do all of this. I mean, you go to school, you play football, and having played myself, I know the time commitment that is, and working. Talk a little bit about the academic side. What would be an accomplishment that you have on that end?
I've been keeping my grades up a lot, actually. Got a 3.7, maybe a 3.8 GPA. Not really happy about it, because, you fall behind sometimes. It is what it is, but it's a new 9 weeks. Just gotta do harder next time.
That's deeply admirable. You don't see too many with a 3.7 in that range express disappointment that they want to get better, and that's a great quality to have. And to get to know you better, Dylan, I'm going to throw some questions out here for you. First off, what are your favorite? What is your favorite NFL and college team?
NFL, I'm gonna have to go with the Detroit Lions. College, I gotta go with the home state, Kentucky.
Is there a particular player, and this can be at any level, that you look up to as a role model?
I would say Travis Hunter and Deion Sanders.
Nice, Coach Prime. Yeah, that's great. And something you feel like that over your career that you've learned from Chad Tackett playing for him?
The amount of discipline you gotta have for a game of football, it's insane. Just a level change. It is from middle school to high school, and then high school to college. It's insane.
Yeah, it's so much of a mental increase. And yeah, Coach Tackett, gosh, what a job he's done there. Went 2 district championships in 3 years, a Final Four. A lot of good things going on there. For you, what was one of the biggest obstacles that you overcame?
Probably earlier this year. Not many people know this, but I was involved in a wreck, and my friend, like my childhood friend, was paralyzed in it. And it was just a mental stump. It was really hard to get over, and I had a minor injury that I had to overcome, but it wasn't nothing big. It just hurt that was taken away from him.
He actually had something similar happen when I was in school, and I can relate to. I mean, although I wasn't involved, I can relate to the feelings of what you're going through. We had a couple football players that were. Talk about Tay. Let's talk a little bit about him. And Tay, who came on the show this summer, give an update on his status and just what he means to you. Man, that kid he's a fighter.
He is. He's a great kid. I've grown up with him since probably 2nd grade. It hasn't changed a heartbeat. He's always looking to make everybody's day better. And he's such a smart kid, and the talent he had for football. Like, he just had so much love for the game. I don't think anybody would work harder than him. Nobody.
Yeah, I tell you, he put on about 15 pounds of muscle. He did the same thing the prior year. People were calling the Y Tay's house, because I know he was there so much.
Yeah, he was there probably 2-3 times every day over the summer.
He's because that's what makes it so challenging, like looking back on it in hindsight, because it's not like, you never want to see that happen to anybody, but it's not like you guys were doing anything stupid. You were driving below the speed limit. That turn, I work in Huntington, and that's a pretty rough spot, just an unfortunate situation. But what was it that mentally that led you that built that determination back in you after everything that happened?
Not hearing that he was never going to walk again, knowing that he just lost his whole career, that killed me. So I dedicated this season to him.
Wow. So you feel like in a way you're playing for him out there.
Yeah.
What did it mean to you when it's Johnson Central? And this is a team, I mean, if you look at their pass defense numbers, they're in the lower part of 4A, but they've also competed against, like LeBryant Strader, they've competed against quarterbacks that are equal in caliber, and there's not a lot of teams that have that. And I think that's kind of lowered their numbers, or that's made them look lower than what they were. And when you slipped through there, I mean, you got through the first time, and then you had the deep catch at halftime. What was that like to you to see those first two happen to put the team ahead?
That first one was so nostalgic because I came up the middle, and I honestly didn't think I was going to get the ball. And then he threw it way out, and not many people like really seen it. Like if you were right in front of it, you would see that I had caught it one-handed. And that second one, oh, that was a pretty ball. That's all I got to say about that one.
Yeah, LeBryant Strader, one of the all-time greats. One of the memories of calling that game personally, I'll never forget, is just Jason just running. I mean, I was on the broadcast talking, and Jason and I were there hugging each other, just celebrating. Like it was just such a memorable moment. And of course,
you gotta love Jason Strader.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, Jason, Jason, you're just like instantly perked up. Like he's just got that personality. Sierra was walking up the steps afterward. I remember high-fiving Sierra. What a great win that was. And were you thinking of Tay when you caught that, right after you caught that touchdown pass?
All the time. I'm always thinking about that kid.
Yeah, that's great, man. What an awesome story to share about him and just that program. And of course, you didn't just play offense, you played some defense too. And talk about what it was like going against that wishbone. And I'm going to illustrate to everybody listening just how powerful this Johnson Central offense was. First off, Zach McCord. And Zach is amazing. He averaged 12 yards a carry. Ashland held him. I haven't seen the official stats yet. I had him at 63 yards. They held him to a third of his average per carry. And this offense as itself has around, I mean, they surpassed their total from last season against Ashland. It took them 13 games to get there last year. And they are the number one offense in the entire state rushing, with the second place being 1,000 yards behind them. That's how powerful this offense is. And Dylan, what was it like competing against them?
Oh, them boys are big. If you want to, especially Zach, if you want to tackle him, you got to hit him low and wrap up. It was just a great game all around, though. But it mainly came down to defense and getting stops.
Gosh, that was a tough, because that last 6 minutes or so, I mean, Johnson Central, they had a great strategy. I mean, they took their time trying to get to the end zone, which is what I would have done too when they get that score, and then get the two, running a similar formation that Harvest Prep ran that work. I don't know if they picked that up off that game or not. And just when it looks like, I mean, Johnson Central will get another close win in the series, then you guys bounce back. And yeah, it was for sure a monumental effort. Dylan, what's a cool fact about yourself? Something that maybe not a lot of people know.
Honestly, I got no shame in this, but I love Minecraft.
Nice. Big, so, a hardcore gamer. Nothing wrong with that. I mean, you mentioned the interaction with Giovanni's, and I mean, you get, and especially now with Discord and some of the servers that are out, I mean, you get a lot more verbal interaction to work on your people skills, something I struggled with heavily when I was very young. I'm going to split this last question. Normally ask about shout-outs into two. How did your brother and sister, both who have contributed heavily, your brother who was on my show just 2 years ago and was a part of that Final Four team, and then Brooklyn, who came on last year and was a big part of that, an Ashland Kittens team that got to the Elite Eight, and what was their reaction to it?
To the touchdown?
Mm-hmm.
I knew they were excited for me because they came up after the game, and I was just getting bombarded by everybody. And it's my mom, my brother, my sister, and my girlfriend were the first people.
Yeah, what a moment. And lastly, Dylan, are there any shout-outs you'd like to give?
I would like to give a shout-out to my mom for always being there for me, my coaches and my team for this great win and season so far. And I would especially give a shout-out to my best friend, Tay Thomas, for being my motivation for everything.
Nicely said. Well, Dylan, we want to say thank you for coming on, and be sure to check out Dylan and the Ashland Tomcats. This week they're going on the road to Simon Kenton, where it's going to be a big game because Simon Kenton being bigger in class, this can be a chance for some RPI points, and we look forward to, at My Town TV, hosting the first round of the playoffs at home, and hopefully a second game, and hopefully a third. We'll see how it all winds up. But we want to say thank you, Dylan, for coming on, and thank you to the listener for tuning in and listening to this episode. God bless you. We will see you soon.